there's another severe weather threat this week, looking more towards like a Friday event. So, Chris, I know you we were talking in our internal chat a little bit ago. This might be a local chase day for you. So, what are you seeing for you and your followers there in South Carolina?
Yeah, absolutely, Scotty. So, looking at some of the NAM, especially because it's convectional oil model, and the European this morning was really interesting. But looking at those, they show a broken line of storms approaching the western part of South Carolina, mid morning through about noon on Friday. And what's really interesting that the NAM was picking up on is possibly like a mesoload developing along the I guess I-85 corridor in the upstate. And while the confidence is really low in that happening right now, because it's we're 48 hours away from the event, and that's such a small scale thing. If that does develop, it would greatly increase the probabilities, or at least the chances, for a few more tornadoes across the Midlands and possibly the upstate and really the 95 corridor. But basically most of South Carolina, if that were to verify. But other than that, about 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, storms should start to push east of Columbia. And as they approach that enhanced area, if there's any kind of daytime heating that's going to allow for the destabilization of the surface, it could be a really long day for the folks up at the Raleigh forecast office. But with the system that's approaching, one of the biggest things is the wind field, and about 18,000 feet, 500 millibar, we like to call it. There's a big negatively tilted trough with a speed max that's going to be approaching, if not more than 100 knots, which climatology, from the climatology standpoint, is near record levels. And when you start to see that kind of wind aloft, especially with dry air aloft that can get mixed down to the surface, and that just kind of gets your attention as somebody that forecasts and knows the weather. So, for Friday, for my folks in South Carolina, definitely be weather aware. The biggest time for any kind of severe weather, probably be 10 a.m. for the western part of the state, and points from Columbia all the way to Myrtle Beach through the rest of the afternoon and until dark, and this stuff just pushes out of here.
And Jamie, as Chris alluded to, you guys, I know, have got all of your eyes watching what could be coming up. So part of your area, even in that enhanced risk. So what is the communication been like from your updates to your forecast area there, Jamie?
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be under the gun again on Friday and into Friday evening. The biggest differences, I think, with this system compared to this last weekend system is it looks like it's going to be mainly an eastern event. We're a little bit earlier on timing than what we saw with the last event. So it looks like it's going to be coming through, especially the triangle region right around peak heating. And anytime you see something like that, that does not bode well. What will be interesting, and we just alluded to it, is that where that meso low really sets up, because right now, at least with the off run on the GFS, it's showing that meso low kind of forming over upstate South Carolina and pushing just east of the triangle. And anytime you have that enhanced shear factor. And boy, looking at some of the model soundings, we're talking for the low-level shear, which is what you really start looking at when it comes to possible tornadic activity. You're looking at some impressive model values. So anytime you see that, that's going to give any warning forecaster a nightmare, especially leading into a peak heating type event where the cells are going to have plenty of moisture to go with and a lot of heating to actually help fuel it on. But really anywhere across North Carolina and South Carolina should be prepared, because little changes in timing and the little changes in the wind field, you could easily have the threat swing anywhere from the Triad westward all the way east into the Outer Banks. So it'll be very interesting to see how this unfolds.
Some of the short range models actually showing a little bit of shower activity developing early Friday morning. So if that's the case, that could really hurt or hamper the severe weather threat, at least here for the western part of the state. So
one thing that I'm really concerned about is we're going to be near record precipitable water values. So at this point, I flushed the toilet twice and it floods the downstream rivers. So I'm a little concerned at additional flooding, especially central and eastern North Carolina, because we're still saturated from Florence. I mean, to be honest, and we've been so wet since Florence. We just haven't dried out. So while that's been great for the drought talk, it unfortunately means every time we get a shower, inch or two in an hour or 2 hours, we end up having significant flooding, and we still have flooding going on right now in the area rivers from this past weekend. So don't sleep on that. And these storms, as they come across, they'll be short-lived, but they can easily dump 1 to 2 inch per hour rates. And before you know it, you've got flash flooding issues too.
it's something we'll watch. But if we shift, if that front slows down, maybe 2-3 hours, it could definitely be a whole new ball game. So it's something that we will watch. But as of right now, most of the area either in an enhanced or slight risk. So that's enough confidence to say that there could be 1 or 2 strong to severe thunderstorms anywhere in the Carolinas. So it's something, as Jamie said, don't cancel your plans, but it's something to keep mindful of as you go into your Good Friday. So severe weather, be sure to keep an eye on us, and we can break into coverage if we need to on Friday. And